Hello, sweet team. Welcome back to my channel. This is Sweet Ajele. I am so excited to be with you all today, and I hope everyone is doing wonderfully well. In today's video, I share with you all how to make Gari at home. So right now, I'm just peeling some cassava, also known as yuca. I'm taking out the core and I'm going to cut it into little pieces because I'm going to be blending it. Now you can grate it if you wish, but the blender method is the quickest method. And for those of you that are scared about the knife, I know this is how I learned how to peel and cut cassava, so it is a habit that I keep, so don't be afraid. But in case you can't do it this way, feel free to cut it on your cutting board and it should be perfect. As I cut, I put it in water because I'm going to just give it a quick rinse before blending it, and then we will continue. At this point, everything is nicely cut and washed, so I'm going to transfer it into my blender, and we're going to add enough water to help the blender blend it beautifully, and then we'll transfer it into a bowl.
Continental food, madam. Food, madam. International food captain. We'll show you how to make pizza, jollof, banku and okra soup, sushi and pastries. All this and more. Sweet Ajele. Go, go, gawa. Sweet Ajele. Go, go, gawa. Sweet Ajele.
Next, you will need a bowl with a strainer insert like this. Now, if you don't have this, you can use any strainer you have in your kitchen. I'll line this with a chiffon cloth. You may use any other clean kitchen towel. We'll pour our blended cassava into it, and I'll repeat the process until everything is nicely blended. I'll now tie the chiffon cloth and we'll leave this out to ferment for about 3 days. Now, why do we ferment Gari? If you don't ferment Gari, you're not gonna have that signature taste, which is a little bit of a sourness. Some are more sour than others, so if you want this to be more sour, you may ferment it longer, but in 3 days it'll be perfect Gari flavor. Okay, so we'll just set this aside for 3 days. All right, y'all, this is 3 days later. Our cassava have been fermenting now beautifully, so it is now time for us to squeeze all the water out, and I give it a taste to see if it is where I want it to be, and it is just perfect.
Continental food, madam. Food, madam. International food captain.
It is now time for us to wring out the excess water in our cassava to get it ready for frying. So I transfer it little by little back into the chiffon cloth and wring it out with my hands. But recently I found a gadget that is just perfect for this. It is this fruit juicer that I picked up off eBay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and line it with a cheesecloth. Now, if you want one of these, you can search it up online. Search for juice press and you should find it. Unfortunately, I don't have a link for it. Okay. Add your cassava into it and press it down to get out all the water. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a press and the water goes to the bottom and you can pour it right out.
We'll show you how to make pizza, jollof, banku and okra soup, sushi and pastries. All this and more. Sweet Ajele. Go, go, gawa. Sweet Ajele. Go, go, gawa. Sweet Ajele.
So I'm going to check what it looks like. So this is after the first press. The middle part is still a bit soft, but you can tell it's pretty good. So I'm just going to break it in half or bend it again, put it back in, and give it a second press. Okay, so I'm going to press, get rid of the water. So you continue this until when you're pouring you don't have enough water coming out, and I think this is good at this point. So I'm going to get it out, and as you all can see, it looks good. Okay, if you like squeezing, fine, but I think this is pretty good in my Gari making adventure. It pressed all the water out. It's nice and cakey and dry. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process until everything is nicely squeezed out. So as you can see, before and after, I love it. Alright, y'all, just look how perfect this is. It is nice and dry, and we are ready to make our Gari. In Ghana, they have a special basket sift that they use, but I don't have that, so I'm going to make do with this strainer. I'm just going to sift it right through. Look, at the end of the day, it's gonna be Gari. So yes, quarantine got us making Gari in my house. We love Gari, so when I ran out, I had to make some, and look how perfect it looks. Now you can use the frozen cassava if you cannot find fresh cassava, because that's what I have been using lately to make Gari, the frozen one. So it is just perfect. We cannot do without Gari in this house, so if you're like me, you will find a way to make it. Just look how perfectly dry this is. Oh my goodness, we are ready for our Gari. So in a pan, I'm going to add some. Don't put too much, because if you put too much and you don't stir it fast enough, it may steam and you will end up with yaka yaka, not Gari. We love yaka yaka, but that's not what we're making right now. Okay, now on a medium heat we will be dry roasting this. Okay, in Ghana they say one Gari. Yes, and as you noticed, I didn't turn the fire on until I was ready to begin stirring it, because it burns very quickly because it's very light and airy. So you want to ensure that you're constantly stirring. In case you have to walk away, you can turn the heat off and stir for a little while for the pot to cool down a bit before walking away, because you do not want to burn this and waste all your hard work. So enjoy. As you can see, the whole texture of our Gari have changed. Initially, you won't be able to just scoop and drop it like that, because it will stick on your spoon or spatula, whatever you're using to stir. But as it begins to fall off like this, you know your Gari is perfectly ready. Don't put your hands in. My kids think I'm superwoman because I'm able to do that, but please don't do that. Our Gari is ready, so I'll set it aside and I'll continue the process until everything is nicely fried up. This is what I mean by it sticks to your spoon and it falls all together instead of running down. This means it still have a lot of moisture in it, so you want to cook it until it is completely dry and it runs down just like this. Okay, so this is perfect. I fried this a little longer, so it's a bit yellow and nice and toasty. The first method, the first color is perfect. You don't have to do this. I just did it for presentation. I learned if you want it to be yellow, you have to add a couple of drops of palm oil. Don't say I told you, because I haven't tried it, so I cannot confirm it. So our Gari is ready for our soakings. Gari photo eba. You name it Gari. you have it and you can make it yourself. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give your girl a thumbs up. Thank you. Share and subscribe if you have not done that yet. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. This is Sweet Ajele. Thank you so much for subscribing. And to the Sweet team, I love you all so much. Until I see you in my next video, stay safe, keep loving each other, and remember that the love of God and family is life's greatest blessing. And guys, ke onamini ochemi sweet mahabotu. Bye y'all.
All this and more, sweet